The name's Bond. James Bond. God, I want to be Bond. Doesn't everyone want to be James Bond? You know the one? The swaggiest British agent the world has ever known. The guy who knows how to kill everyone in the room and make the girls swoon. Smooth incarnate. For literally decades, no matter who donned the suit, the results were always the same. Non-stop action, awesome gadgets, and sexy fun. Let's take a look back at the top 10 Bond movies that heated the screens and our hearts over the years. I'm your host, Nick, Nostalgic Nick. And if you enjoy this 00 countdown, please hit that thumbs up button for us and subscribe to the channel for even more content. Dr.No. Bond creator Ian Fleming once said, "Give Bond the right clothes, the right woman, and the right background, and you've got the makings of a thriller." Well, that formula was magic right from the start, as you can clearly see with Dr. No. Right from the beginning, the movie is iconic as we famously peer through the eye of a barrel of a gun, accompanied by the legendary Bond theme music. These ingredients would work for years to come. The movie introduced the world to Sean Connery's smooth charm. From his very first entrance at a casino table lighting a cigarette,
Bond. James Bond.
Nobody played Bond quite as perfect as Connery, in my opinion. Whether found in his dashing tuxedo or casual collared tees, audiences were smitten with Agent 007. Who could forget bombshell Ursula Andress as Honey Ryder on the luscious beaches of Jamaica? Or Bond narrowly escaping death by tarantula? And of course the movie's namesake, Dr. No, who aims to destroy the US space program. The film proved Fleming's theory a winner, alright. Though critics met Dr. No with mixed reviews, it was a huge financial success, and as the years have passed, critics have come around, and the movie is a cherished classic. From Russia with Love. Connery returns, this time with sultry Soviet clerk Tatiana, played by Daniela Bianchi, as they meet in Istanbul to defeat the secret crime organization. The Spectre is training Russian spies to execute James Bond. With a delightfully disgusting villain, Rosa Klebb, as an evil engineer. This is the epitome of a cinema classic.
For your sake, I hope so.
Connery's boyish playboy version of Bond saunters an awe-inspiring Art Nouveau hotel as Bond requests a new room after slyly detecting a bug. With plenty of action from beginning to end, honestly, who can resist a gypsy girl fight? Let's face it, Bond betting Russian spy Tatiana is one of the hottest sex scenes we never actually see, even though the Russian Spectre are filming behind the mirror. And the climax is an epic train fight scene, one of the coolest in the entire series. Did you know JFK himself was partly responsible for Bond's success? By citing From Russia with Love as one of his all-time favorite novels, and it was incidentally the last movie he ever viewed, one day before his fateful trip to Texas in 1963. Goldfinger. Considered by many to be the absolute best Bond movie of all time, this opening had Connery returning wearing a seagull on his head as a disguise to pull up fully clad in black spy threads to set a bomb. He then quickly changes into a flawless white tuxedo and has a drink at a local club to watch and enjoy the fruits of his labor. Then it's off to Miami, where Bond continues to demonstrate his skills even in the trickiest jams. Of course, there's always a babe to bag, and they are usually trying to kill him. And you thought your love life was complicated. Unfortunately, Jill Masterson, played by Shirley Eaton, is no exception to this rule, and in the end she bites the dust, all because Mr. Bond just could not refrain from mixing work with pleasure. After James crashes Goldfinger's rigged card game, it's not long before the iconic Bond girl is found dead on a bed, covered in Goldfinger's signature gold paint. One of my favorite Bond scenes is when he narrowly escapes a penile laser death in Goldfinger's laboratory. And who could forget Bond's feminine match in Pussy Galore? Goldfinger's clever and capable pilot is at first immune to his charms, but that doesn't last too long. Goldfinger was the first Bond movie to feature a laser, Bond driving his signature Aston Martin gadget machine, and Bond's martini as shaken, not stirred. Legendary indeed. Thunderball. Supposed to be the first Bond film, it was tied up in a legal battle with screenplay collaborators. So instead it's the fourth in the series, arriving in 1965. With an opening action scene that had audiences cheering worldwide, this movie was worth the wait.
come to offer my sincere condolences.
Connery starts the action, which never stops, as the movie dives under shark-infested waters. In this film, Bond is on a mission to retrieve NATO bombs stolen by the Spectre. The journey leads him to the Bahamas to meet the spooky, patch-wearing, card-playing bad guy, Emilio Largo. And of course, Bond turns Largo's mistress, Domino. The role of Domino was extremely competitive in Hollywood. Producers passed over super bombshells Faye Dunaway, Raquel Welch, and even Julie Christie for the former Miss France, Claudine Auger. The movie culminates in a super epic underwater battle scene, which is probably the first of its kind as far as cinema goes. Stuntman Bill Suter was one of the only men alive who could fly the 20-second stunning jetpack Bond escape sequence. Also, while filming, two sharks in Largo's legendary shark pool suddenly attacked and bit each other to bloody red waters as director Terrence Young yelled for the cameras to keep it rolling. So I guess some animals were harmed during the filming of this movie. Sorry, PETA. Moonraker. Introducing the impeccable English gentleman Sir Roger Moore. A joyful watch from start to finish, with all its space-age retro mod. Who can resist the charm Moore effortlessly delivers, with just the right dash of camp?
Seems to have an eye for a good investment.
As he bests trial after tribulation, including a centrifuge space machine death attempt induced by nemesis Hugo Drax, giving orders to the hilariously cliche evildoer Chang, who spends a lot of time tiptoeing around trying to murder Moore. Memorably, Bond wakes seemingly in his heaven, surrounded by gorgeous Amazonian-like women, moments later to narrowly escape their cold killer death by Anaconda. The later half of the movie in space is happily full of outer space 60s action and stylistic flair, as plenty of movies around the time were, being influenced by Star Wars. Octopussy. Have you ever heard it's so bad it's good? Well, Moore's sixth jaunt as Bond gives us Octopussy, a film often passed over as one of the top Bond flicks, with all its outlandish silliness. For that reason, and to applaud the title itself, it makes our top 10. Flanked with absurdly hysterical sequences, we get an unforgettable film to be treasured. Octopussy delivers us the Pauly Shore twins killing Agent 009 as Bozo T. Clown, and after that, it's pretty pointless to try to follow the plot. As long as you trust there are the standard Bondian gems, nuclear weapons and gadgets throughout, a bad guy Kamal Khan, played by Louis Jordan, and Octopussy, played by Maud Adams, the only woman to be featured in 2 Bond movies. Maybe the producers were trying to put Roger Moore in the most ridiculous situations yet.
It goes by hot air.
To move to their next pretty bad boy Timothy Dalton. License to Kill. Speaking of whom, 1989's License to Kill gives us our 5th Bond in Dalton.
Q, what the hell are you doing here?
The intense-gazed, chin-dimpled rebel who goes rogue disguised as a hitman on a mission of personal vendetta after his just-married friend is lowered into a shark tank. Dalton brings a deeper, dark and stormy side to the Bond character, and the film is action-packed violence, in which villain Ed Killefer receives poetic justice as James drops him and drug lord Sanchez's dirty money suitcase to his fatal death in the same shark tank that maimed his friend. GOLDENEYE. Pierce Brosnan's introduction in this 1995 installment is the first script to depart from Ian Fleming's Bond, as 007 battles to stop Agent Traitor 006, Sean Bean, from launching his satellite weapon that could destroy the Earth. With all the elements of Bond, including perfectly coined femme fatale Xenia Onatopp, the series also demonstrates the passing of an era, losing a bit of its je ne sais quoi, but blazing our imaginations with blasts, stunts, and massive special effects. And it landed itself into a pretty legendary Nintendo video game too. Casino Royale. 2006 introduced Daniel Craig as 007, who brought his theater training and emotional depth with a bit more of a serious Bond, which at first was protested, but then widely acclaimed. As the title promises, we find Bond in a lavish casino in Montenegro. After achieving 00 status, Bond must play a high-stakes poker game to defeat a successfully greasy, cold-looking villain who is funding terrorist organizations with his cheating table game. Bond tries to call Lashif's bluff at the table, as his stunning and brainy wingwoman Vesper Lind, a British Treasury agent, enters in perfect dame class to distract the bad guy.
Weren't you supposed to enter so the others could see you?
Was I? Forgive me.
But at first, Bond fails due to his own ego. Craig, of course, topples Lashif's game in classic Bond redemption. Skyfall. Stud Daniel Craig returns as Bond in the superbly qualified Skyfall, brimming with stellar performances from Judi Dench and Daniel Craig, who went through 85 of Bond's Tom Ford suits for the opening sequence. The film gives us Bernice Marlowe as former sex slave Severine, accomplice to bad guy Javier Bardem as Raul Sylvia, an ex-M16 turned cyber terrorist, whom Judi Dench turned over to the Chinese in order to rescue 6 other 00 agents. Death finds beloved Dench by gunshot in Skyfall, which makes her the only imp to die in the Eon Bond films. There you have our top 10 Bond flicks. Luckily, there are 16 others for you to enjoy from our beloved James Bond, who has killed 352 people and slept with 52 women, whilst being shot at 4,662 times. That's a whole lot of action. So now's the time we get to find out the consensus. So get in the comments and give us your top 10. I can't wait to see your different orders. And if you enjoyed our Bond deep dive into shark-infested waters, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to avoid being tracked down by one of our secret agents. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks so much for watching.